Lately, a lot of videos have been coming through my recommended on YouTube suggesting I watch things involving SpongeBob, Kids Next Door, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Basically, these videos where people take a nostalgic look back at one of their favorite TV shows of their childhood. And as being someone who's interested in anything that's nostalgic about one's childhood, I watched many of these videos and quickly realized just how little I could really relate with them. See, I was part of a small demographic of American children that seemingly grew up without cable, and because of that, I believe the way kids like me's childhood was shaped was very different than those that watched cable. Growing up, my parents had an antenna that we watched, obviously free public TV on before the antenna was eventually struck by lightning, causing the power to go out throughout our house, and having my dad ultimately begin to purchase quote-unquote cable from the local cable company, though it was really just antenna quality channels put through cable. All we got was the same antenna channels, plus for some reason, randomly, the Discovery Channel. I was still without things like Cartoon Network, the Disney Channel, and Nickelodeon, the three most important channels, I think, to many kids' childhood. Instead, on a daily basis, I watched PBS, and as many of you who grew up without cable know, PBS was where it was at if you didn't have any other cartoons to watch. This was obviously well before the time of streaming. I couldn't simply go on YouTube or Netflix and find something else to watch, so I was stuck watching PBS, which was okay when I was 3, 4, maybe even 5 years old, but as I got into being, in first and second grade, PBS became really dull. And while there were a few shows on there, like Arthur, Cyber Chase, and my favorite, Fetch with Rough Men,
pitched my vision for a show. They loved it, thought I was a pro. They got my contract back to find. To their alarm, a dog had signed. Oh, I like that name.
The truth was, PBS was not all that entertaining, but on weekdays, especially in the summer, I had nothing else to watch. See, Saturday morning cartoons, in the real sense of being on Saturday morning, are very important to me. Kids like myself who were born in the 90s, I think for the most part, don't fully appreciate Saturday morning cartoons because they grew up with these large-scale networks like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon that played cartoons on a constant 24/7 near basis, and they always had access to watching cartoons. If you didn't have cable like I did, Saturday morning cartoons were truly the only time you were going to be able to watch cartoons. I remember on Saturday mornings, I was either finding myself watching ABC, where they ran a Disney block because ABC and Disney are, part of the same massive company. So on Saturday mornings, ABC would run Disney Channel reruns for about 5 hours. It was kind of like that taste of cable that I was never going to actually get in a full-fledged sense. And then, of course, the other big one for Saturday morning cartoons was KidsWB. This was part of the CW in my area, the CW being obviously a free publicly broadcasted channel that today runs shows like Jane the Virgin and other, Archer, things that are actually pretty good shows over public air. And on Saturday mornings, they used to run kids shows as part of KidsWB. They would air all kinds of cool things. I remember there was a Sonic TV show, a Kirby TV show, but none of that came anywhere near matching the fanfare that I had for watching Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon on Saturday mornings. And of course, many of these shows were regionalized Japanese shows brought in by 4Kids. I know people on the internet absolutely hate 4Kids, but I cannot express enough just how important 4Kids was to my childhood. I was a super fan when it came to Yu-Gi-Oh! And Pokemon, and it was all because of 4Kids, and more importantly, KidsWB, that brought these shows onto my television for free, even without having cable. And the other thing that I think that came with not having cable was I started to watch some adult animation shows a little bit earlier. I experimented after school with watching things like King of the Hill, which of course came on at like 5 o'clock after Judge Judy finally got over on Fox. And King of the Hill served to be a huge disappointment for me, but because it was an animation, I tried watching it many times. I just absolutely could not relate whatsoever with Hank Hill or his son. I found them to both just be terrible characters, and I never enjoyed King of the Hill. On the other hand, for some reason, I found there to be this great likable appeal to Bart Simpson. As a 10-year-old, I was drawn into Bart Simpson and Milhouse, and even a little bit the antics of Homer and the things that just happened in the Simpsons town. I don't know what made the Simpsons be so interesting to me as a 10-year-old. Maybe it was just because compared to King of the Hill, I considered the show far better. Or more of what I think it is just the vast library of episodes The Simpsons had, and the fact that the chronological order they were played in was meaningless. I could turn on The Simpsons at 5:30 on Fox's sister channel, and I could see different episodes every single day. I think they played 2 episodes every single day. That was an hour worth of good quality entertainment, and it was so rare that I would ever see a rerun, and I think that that's what really drew me in to The Simpsons. So having seen all these videos out there on YouTube recently about people reminiscing about the shows of their childhood that almost all came across cable, I just wanted to take a look back at the shows that shaped my childhood. All shows that I did not actually watch on cable. And for those of you other kids that grew up without cable, I would also love to hear your opinions and what you grew up watching and how you think it shaped your childhood and the person that you became today. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.